Have you ever felt like life keeps moving faster, yet somehow you're still falling behind? We live in a world of noise where everyone rushes toward invisible milestones, successful, at 20 stable, at 30 secure at 40. And when we miss those marks, we blame ourselves as if we failed at life. But have you ever wondered, what if you're not the one who's wrong? What if life was never meant to be a race, but a rhythm, slow, deliberate, and profoundly human? This video is not about hype or quick motivation. It's a journey into the deepest chambers of Stoic philosophy. Trust the process. Amor. Stillness. Inner mastery. The timeless teachings that have carried people through loss, uncertainty, and the storms of the soul for thousands of years. If you're exhausted from chasing life, if you feel lost, overwhelmed, or defeated by what you cannot control, then this is where you rediscover your true pace. Watch until the end, because one moment of clarity can change the way you see your entire life. And if you're ready to walk this quiet but powerful path, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another chapter crafted for your mind and your spirit. We have walked through many years, witnessed countless seasons of people arriving and departing, seen the newborn enter the world in cries, and the elderly leave it in silence. And through all those shifting tides, we have learned one thing: life is never out of rhythm. It has its own tempo, slow, sometimes unexpected, yet always precise. Human beings, by contrast, are perpetually impatient. They live as though afraid time might forget them. They run, they count. They measure their lives by artificial milestones, successful at 20, secure at 30, stable at 40. And when those numbers pass, they panic, believing themselves left behind. I was once the same. I too saw life as an invisible race where everyone carried their own clock, constantly comparing the movement of their hands with one another. But the more I ran, the more exhausted I became. I realized there is no ahead or behind, only those who move in their own true rhythm, and those who lose themselves by chasing someone else's race. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Align yourself with the flow of nature, for nature never errs." I had read these words for years, but only when my heart cracked under the weight of loss did I truly understand them. Nature is never hurried yet. It is never late. The sun needs no reminder to rise. The seed needs no urging to sprout. Everything occurs precisely when it must. To trust the process is to acknowledge that an unseen order is guiding our lives, even when it lies beyond the grasp of our reasoning. We are not the architects. We are simply those living within the unfolding. And we may choose either to resist it in despair or to merge with it in quiet faith. In youth, I believed I had to control life, but the things I gripped most tightly were always the first to slip away. The love I once thought eternal dissolved like vapor. The career I believed was destiny turned out to be merely one step in a much larger journey. Every loss felt like destruction. Yet looking back, I know none of it came to stay. Each came to lead me forward. Seneca said, "Fate guides the willing and drags the unwilling." This is not a call to surrender, but to awaken. We cannot force a flower to bloom before its season, nor stop it from falling when its time has passed. But we can tend the soil, water the roots, and trust that when the moment is right, the blossom will open. Faith in the process is not passivity, it is action without despair. When we work with a clear spirit and pure intention while remaining unshaken by outcomes, we attain the highest form of freedom. For we are no longer imprisoned by must have, must achieve, or must surpass. I once had a young student ask me, "Teacher, how do I know whether I'm walking in the right direction?" I replied, "When you are no longer haunted by speed, for only those who are running away fear being slow. The one who lives in accordance with their nature simply walks step by step, yet trusts they will arrive." Life itself is a process of trial and growth. The child learning to stand will fall. The seed reaching upward must tear its shell. Even the calm ocean needs storms to renew itself. So do we. Suffering is not punishment, it is instruction. Every fall is a forge, and in each collapse, the process continues, silent, exact, like the unseen craftsman shaping our souls. If we could see life as a child sees the sandcastle they build on the shore building, though knowing the wave will come, then we would understand the first Stoic teaching. Give your whole heart to the action, not the outcome. Joy does not lie in the permanence of the castle, but in the act of creation. And when the wave arrives, we smile, for we know that the act itself was the reward. I once sat before a sunset and asked, "Why does life make us wait so long for what we long for?" And I heard my own heart answer, "Because if everything came the moment you wished for it, you would never learn the art of trust." Trust, this is the highest virtue of one who lives in harmony with nature. Trust that even when our eyes do not yet see, life is arranging everything quietly. Trust that each delay carries its reason, each failure a turn towards something better. The world is not our enemy, it is our teacher. And like every teacher, it is sometimes stern, sometimes silent, sometimes letting us believe we are abandoned only to one day when we have matured enough smile and show us that every trial was preparation. People say life is a path, but not every path is straight. There are bends, steep climbs, cul-de-sacs. The impatient call these wrong turns. The wise call them the right path, only not yet fully revealed. When we grasp this, our heart settles. We no longer demand that life answer immediately. We no longer require everything to unfold according to our will, for we know that everything is unfolding for us. Do not let the ticking of the human clock drown out the beating of the heart of truth. In all philosophies, perhaps no idea is as powerful, yet as gentle, as Amor Fati, the love of fate. For who among us has not wished to change something in life, an event that has already happened, a person who has left a mistake that cost us dearly? Humans want to rewrite the past. As an artist dissatisfied with his own painting, but life, like the ocean, does not allow us to redraw waves that have already dissolved. And so people suffer not because of the present, but because they cannot make the past different. I have seen many such people. They live in resentment toward what cannot be changed. They say, "Why did this happen to me?" Yet few ask, "What did this come to teach me?" The Stoics teach that suffering does not come to harm us, but to awaken us. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "What happens to you is what is natural for you, and what is natural is never wrong." At first glance, this may seem cruel, but it is in fact an antidote for the soul. For only when we stop resisting fate do we stop being crushed by it. Seneca said, "Fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling." I too have been dragged. When plans collapsed, I raged. When I was betrayed, I felt wounded. When life took away what I cherished most, I believed I had lost everything. But then time, the patient teacher, showed me that each event carried a purpose more sacred than I had imagined. A blacksmith never fears fire. He knows that without it the iron remains useless. So it is with us. Without adversity, our souls remain soft and fragile. The Stoics do not merely accept fate, they love it. This is the difference between resignation and awakening. The resigned say, "I have no choice." The awakened say, "This is the path I am meant to walk." Fati is not surrender. It is the unwavering trust that life does nothing in vain. I once saw a seed fall into a crevice of stone. No soil, no water, no one believed it could live. Yet it sprouted, pierced through the rock, and reached for the light. That seed did not complain that it was less fortunate than others, resting in soft soil. It simply lived with all the vitality it possessed. And that is the essence of Amor Fati. Look at the waves. They do not choose the wind, yet they rise, crash upon the shore, break into white foam, and return to the vast sea. They do not resent the rocks that shatter them, for it is that very collision that makes them shimmer in a brief moment of sunset. Our lives are the same. Every fall reveals the beauty of the soul if we have the courage to look at it with the eyes of a learner instead of a complainer. I recall Seneca once writing to Lucilius, "No one becomes happy without being tested, for only in adversity does the soul reveal its true quality. Indeed, if the wind never rose, the sailor would never know how far he could steer his ship. Without betrayal, we would never understand loyalty. Without loss, we would never know the depth of gratitude for what remains. When we love fate, even the parts that wound us, we step into a higher level of awareness, the realm of inner freedom. No one can hurt us anymore because we no longer see suffering as an enemy. We see it as a teacher. No one can frighten us because we know if something arrives, it arrives because it must. And if it must, we learn to walk through it with the posture of one chosen to grow. Imagine a goldsmith refining gold. The fire burns bright, the gold melts. Impurities vanish. If gold feared the flame, it would never be pure. So it is with us. Every challenge is a purifying fire. When we enter it, we are transformed. When we flee from it, we remain rough metal. Some say I cannot love adversity. I only want happiness. But they misunderstand the nature of happiness. Happiness is not a life without suffering. Happiness is knowing that suffering too has meaning. Amor Fati teaches us to look at life with gratitude, even when we are bleeding, for we know today's blood is the price of tomorrow's strength. I have lost those I loved, watched plans collapse in an ordinary morning, sat alone in the night with nothing but emptiness. And I asked, why does life take everything from me? Then I heard a voice deep within, because it is time for you to love what remains. When we love fate, we do not only love the beautiful, we love impermanence, we love the darkness. We love even what we do not yet understand. We say to ourselves, if this is what life chooses for me, then I will live it fully. It is surrender through awakening, a kind of strength the impatient can never possess. People often ask, if we love fate, does it mean we stop dreaming? No. On the contrary, Fati teaches us to dream with serenity. We still act, strive, desire, but if the result differs, we do not collapse. For we know we control only action, not fate. A wise person sows seeds with joy, not fear. They know that if the sky sends rain, the seed will sprout. If not, it will sleep and wait for another season. But either way they sow, for the act of sowing is already its own reward. And thus adversity ceases to be an enemy and becomes a companion. It teaches patience, humility, acceptance. It scrapes away arrogance, the kind that once made us think we could command heaven and earth. I once wrote in my journal, when we learn to say thank you to adversity, life begins to soften indeed. For gratitude aligns us with the order of the universe. We are no longer those swept along by the current, but those who swim with it, unafraid of waves, unresentful of water. And so we walk without strain, without pleading, quietly, accepting that everything is exactly as it must be. Love every event as you love your own breath, for it is within adversity that the human soul finds its true form. The ancients said the weak seek to conquer the world, the strong conquer themselves. And I, after many years observing the lives of men, have come to understand this. The one who is truly free is the one who knows how to let go. Human beings carry within themselves a primal desire, the desire to control. We want to shape outcomes, want others to behave as we expect, want the future to unfold according to the path we draw. We plan, we worry, we calculate, we prepare, believing that this is wisdom. But the more we try to control, the more we are bound. We imagine we are directing the flow of water, yet in truth, we are the ones swept away by the illusion of power. And when life refuses to obey, we grow angry. When others do not act as we wish, we grow disappointed. When events unfold beyond our grasp, we fall into despair. I have lived like this before, like a gatekeeper of destiny, trying to force the world to follow the diagram of my reasoning.
But then I realized everything we grip too tightly eventually breaks. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality," and how true it is. Most of our pain does not come from what happens, but from the belief that it should have happened differently. We do not suffer because it rains. We suffer because we wanted sunlight. We do not suffer because someone leaves. We suffer because we believed they should have stayed. We do not suffer because of loss. We suffer because we refuse to accept that loss is part of life. As long as we try to control what lies outside our power, our soul will never know peace. For the universe does not bow to the will of a single person. It bows only to harmony. The Stoics believe in logos, the rational order of all things. Logos is the reason, the law, the invisible intelligence operating this cosmos. It makes seasons follow, seasons, the sun rise on time, and a seed know how to become a tree. If we are part of Logos, why rebel against it? If we are a drop in the ocean, why rage? Because the waves do not follow our will, Epictetus said. Do not demand that things happen as you wish. Wish that they happen as they do, and you will be serene. This is not the teaching of resignation, but of insight into the true nature of things. Everything has a reason, though we may not yet understand it. We were born into a system in which every event is connected. A breeze here may change the direction of a bird at a distant horizon. The death of one person may give life to another. The entire universe moves like an enormous tapestry. Each thread, no matter how small, has a role in the final image. So then, is anything truly wrong? Or is it simply that our narrow perspective cannot yet see the full picture? For a long time I thought freedom meant choosing, commanding, changing. But the Stoics know this freedom is not external power, it is internal stillness. When we stop trying to control others, we begin to control ourselves. When we stop ordering fate, we begin to listen to it. When we accept that we cannot change the wind, we learn to adjust the sail. And strangely, when we stop resisting, everything begins to flow. Like a boat rowing against the current, only when the rower lets go of the oars does the water guide it toward the sea. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, receive whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny for what could suit you better. Letting go does not mean laziness. Letting go means doing our part fully, then leaving the rest to nature. Like the sower, he cannot command the rain, but he can tend the soil. He cannot force the seed to sprout, but he can trust that within the earth, life is working quietly. Letting go of control is the path of wisdom. It is not letting go of effort. It is letting go of fear. Someone once asked me, if I let go, won't I become passive? I smiled. Only those who do not understand letting go ask such a question. The one who truly lets go acts with the greatest focus, because they are no longer distracted by outcomes. They can give their whole being to the action. When people act out of fear of failure, their heart splits. One part works, the other part worries. But when they let go of fear, they become the flow itself. Whole, graceful, free. This is why sages live in silence, yet their work carries immense power. They act in the spirit of following the way. Seneca wrote, "No wind is favorable for the one who does not know where he is going." We may add, but for the one who knows his direction, every wind is favorable. One day I looked back at my life and suddenly saw everything I had forced became pain. Everything I had allowed nature to guide became beautiful in its own way. The people I tried to hold on to left. The opportunities I tried to seize by force drained me. The dreams I did not chase returned to me when I was at peace. From this, I learned a law of the universe. The more you trust, the freer you become. The more you resist, the more you suffer. When we trust the flow lifts us. When we strain against it, we drown. Letting go of control is not losing willpower. It is the highest form of willpower. The will that no longer opposes nature but unites with it. We are no longer warriors fighting life but extensions of life itself. Observe water, the great teacher of nature. Water does not resist obstacles. It embraces them, flows around them, seeps through them, erodes them, and eventually dissolves them. Its softness makes it enduring. Its flexibility makes it invincible. When pressed, water does not resent. It simply changes form. It becomes vapor when heated, ice when chilled, a river when given a path, and rises to the sky only to return as rain. Nothing is lost, only transformed. If humans learn the spirit of water, they will no longer suffer from change, for they will know every circumstance is only a temporary shape of existence. Letting go means trusting that wherever life pushes us, our essence remains intact. Like water, whether in a cup, a stream, or a cloud, is still water. Each morning when we open our eyes, let us tell ourselves, "Today I will do my part and leave the rest to life." If we work with all the energy of the present. If we love with a heart free of conditions. If we fail, bow and say, "I have learned my lesson," and let it go. No need to torment ourselves, no need to demand answers, because in letting go, we allow the universe to do its part. And the universe, in its vast wisdom, knows far more than we do. When we inhale, we receive. When we exhale, we release. This is the rhythm of life. Take and let go and take. Whoever holds their breath too long suffocates. Whoever clings too tightly suffocates in the heart. To live in harmony with nature is to breathe with life, to receive what comes, let go of what goes, and trust that each breath brings us closer to ourselves. The one who has learned to let go no longer asks, "Is everything right?" They simply smile and say, "Everything is right in its own way." They no longer grow angry at change, for they know the waves do not come to destroy, but to teach balance. They no longer fear loss, for they understand loss is life clearing space for what is new. They no longer resent fate, for they trust every arrival carries a seed of blessing. This is the peace that cannot be stolen, the peace found only in those who know how to let go. The wise do not seek to control the universe. They simply learn to walk with its rhythm.
For when we move with life, life lifts us. There are mornings when we wake to find life covered in mist. The road ahead seems veiled by the shadows of uncertainty. We want to take a step, but fear whispers, wait. Wait until you can see clearly. And so we sit, we wait, we hesitate. And while we wait, life continues to flow like a river that never stops, just because someone is standing on the bank. And we realize waiting for certainty before moving forward is the surest way to never begin. Human beings crave safety. We love light and fear darkness, love order and fear chaos. We want to know in advance, to calculate, to guarantee that everything we do will lead to a good result. But life, as Marcus Aurelius wrote, owes us no clarity. We may plan and prepare, but no one sees the entire path. And this is what paralyzes many people. They wait until everything becomes certain. But certainty is something that never comes. Seneca wrote, "He who waits for the perfect moment waits forever." Certainty is the dream of the fearful, a shadow of security we think we need, when in truth life opens only for those who dare to walk through the fog. Epictetus once taught his students, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you must do." There is no space for delay in such advice. It is a call act. First, confidence will follow. We do not learn courage through theory. We learn it by stepping into the place that frightens us. A soldier does not wait to be free of fear before entering the battlefield. For bravery is not the absence of fear, but walking forward despite it. One morning I sat by the sea. Mist covered everything. The horizon was nowhere to be seen. But the sea still moved, the birds still flew, the waves still rose. I asked myself, if nature continues moving through the fog, why am I standing still? It is precisely when we cannot see clearly that life is testing whether we have enough faith to step forward. For a long time, I thought faith came first and action followed. But the truth is, faith appears only after we act. Each step is proof to ourselves that we can move. Each decision, however small, is a brick in the bridge to our future. People wait for the light to illuminate the entire path, but real light only appears after we begin walking. The traveler in the night with a torch cannot see the whole way, but each step forward pushes the light further. And then we realize the road never becomes fully bright. It becomes bright enough for the one who dares to walk. The Stoics never wait to feel ready. They understand readiness does not come from enough preparation, but from resolve within the soul. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Do not say, 'I will act tomorrow,' for tomorrow will be no different from today unless you are different." Remember, what we fear is not the darkness of the future, but the thought that we cannot walk through it.
Only when we dare to step does that darkness retreat and make room for light. The Stoics see each action as part of a sacred duty, a duty to reason and to the universe. We do not act to guarantee success. We act to remain true to our nature as human beings. And that is freedom. Many say they trust the process, trust fate, trust God. Yet their steps tremble, their hands hesitate, their eyes search for reassurance. These people do not trust. They only wish to trust. Real faith is not spoken. It lives in the posture of the one who walks through rain without covering their head. It shines in the eyes of the one who plants seeds in dry soil, but still smiles. It rests in the heart of the one who fails, yet remains at peace. I once witnessed a friend lose everything: job, money, reputation. Yet every morning he rose early, brewed tea, opened his door, took a deep breath, and said, "I have one more day to live according to reason." He did not need to know what tomorrow held. He only knew that today he was still himself. This is the stance of faith. Decisiveness is not blind action. It is clarity that requires no guarantee. When our mind is clear, we no longer fear being wrong, because we know if we err, we learn. If we fail, we grow. No step is wasted so long as it is taken with awareness. The fearful say, "If I move, I might fall." The faithful say, "If I fall, I will learn to rise." Seneca wrote, "No one becomes strong by standing still. Only the one knocked down by the wind and rises again truly knows who he is. Therefore, walk forward. You do not need to see the destination, only to trust that each step is part of the path." The Stoic does not pray with words, but with action. Each act, however small, is a declaration to the universe. I trust this path, even if my eyes cannot yet see it. Walking through uncertainty is how they prove their faith. For faith that is not lived is dead. Faith that is lived becomes life itself, moving through us. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Your task is to live as a human being. Therefore, do what you were born to do." Action is the soul's duty to itself. Each time we do what is right, we come closer to our highest self. And thus, even without knowing what tomorrow brings, we live fully today without fear. When our actions arise from fear, we become slaves to the outcome. When they arise from virtue, we become free.
The Stoic does not act to win, but to be right, not to be praised, but to be worthy, not to achieve a goal, but to remain upright. A right action needs no applause. Its reward is inner tranquility, something no one can steal. And when the soul is at peace, every road leads to the destination. True confidence does not come from certainty of results, but from certainty of our own nature. The Stoics understand they cannot control circumstances, they control only their response. And when we master our response, we become invincible. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, if it is in the nature of man, you can do it. If another has done it, why not you? This is simple but powerful. Faith, I can. Not because the world guarantees it, but because I am part of Logos, the sacred order of the cosmos. There are battles without drums, without applause, yet they measure the strength of the soul. These are the moments we stand before fear, loneliness, and confusion, and still do not retreat. No shouting, no declarations, just one quiet but meaningful step forward. Stoic courage is not loud or dramatic. It is in the calm eyes looking ahead, in the steady hands working through pain, in the even breath, in the midst of the storm. This is the bravery of the one who knows, though nothing is certain, I still choose to advance. When we act through the fog, we become the light, not because we dispel all darkness, but because we refuse to let darkness consume us. A small candle cannot illuminate an entire room, but it can keep itself from going out. And that is enough, for in a world full of doubt, the one who dares to keep faith is already a miracle. I have lived long enough to know that no one is ever ready for life. We only become ready by living it. Act as though everything is happening for you, not because you are naive, but because you are wise enough to know the universe makes no mistakes. Each step you take, however trembling, is a declaration to life. I trust my path, even before I see it. And in that very moment, the fog thins, the sun emerges, and we realize walking through the mist is one way to discover the light. Do not wait for the light before you walk. Walk, and the light will follow your footsteps. There are days when we walk through life like a blind person wandering through a blooming garden. The fragrance still spreads. The wind still blows. The light still pours from the heavens. Yet our mind is entangled in what we do not have, so we fail to recognize what is already here. We live amid blessings, but complain of lacking grace. We breathe with the breath of heaven and earth, yet resent that life does not follow our wishes. And thus we lose the simplest of all joys, the joy of being alive. I have seen people whose material wealth was abundant, yet their faces were filled with suffering. They say that happiness will come later when they have more, achieve more, conquer more. But later never arrives, because within them, the sense of not enough is a bottomless abyss. The Stoics understood that suffering does not come from circumstances, but from the lens through which we perceive them.
The same rain, a farmer calls it a blessing. A picnicker calls it a disaster. The same long night, the anxious view it as punishment. The meditator views it as rest. So life does not lack miracles. Our eyes simply forget how to see with gratitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Each morning remind yourself that to live, to breathe, to think, to love, these are privileges. But privileges, when repeated daily, become invisible. Like one who lives by the sea long enough, no longer hears the waves. Like lovers long together, who forget the warmth of a hand in their own. Happiness is not what we find when everything becomes perfect. It is the ability to recognize what is beautiful amid imperfection." Seneca wrote, "No one is unhappy because of what he lacks, but because of what he desires beyond his need. Life becomes abundant when seen with grateful eyes, but seen through the lens of scarcity, even surrounded by gold, we remain poor. Like a drink of water, the thirsty see grace, the wealthy see something ordinary. It is perception that gives things their value. The Stoics do not wait for abundance in order to be grateful. They are grateful even in lack, for they understand that lack teaches appreciation, just as one understands the value of light only after being lost in darkness. Life in its wisdom does not offer blessings wrapped in grandeur. It hides them in small things, in difficulties that seem meaningless. A failure holds within it a lesson in resilience. A loss hides within it a reminder of what we truly need. A person who leaves teaches us unconditional love. Every moment, if seen properly, is a gift. Some ask, how can one see a gift in pain? I answer, by believing that every pain is a form of instruction. Nature creates nothing without meaning. Even lifeless rocks teach endurance. Even storms teach steadfastness. The Stoics do not pray for a gentler life. They pray to become strong enough to receive it. Each night they practice an ancient exercise, quiet reflection. Before sleep they ask, what did I receive today that deserves gratitude? It may be a warm meal, a kind glance, a peaceful evening, or simply the fact that they are still here, breathing, thinking, and continuing on. Finding at least one thing to be grateful for each day is their way of training the inner eye so that it can see goodness, even where others see only ruin. Seneca advised, no man is poor who is grateful, and no man is rich who complains.
Gratitude does not make us weak. It makes us strong, for only the steadfast can bow their head without losing dignity. Pain is a gift wrapped in rough paper. It tears apart. Our safety exposes our fragility, and from that exposure we learn to become stronger. Youth avoids pain. The wise learn to listen to pain's lessons. We cannot understand compassion without having been wounded.
We cannot understand patience without having waited. We cannot understand peace without having weathered storms. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What happens to you has been woven into the fabric of human nature. Do not fear it. Accept it as part of nature itself. If the universe does nothing in vain, then neither is our pain in vain. It comes to teach what joy cannot." And once we understand this, suffering loses its sting. It ceases to be an enemy and becomes a teacher. There is a sad truth we must accept. We only realize the value of something after it is gone. The Stoics teach a practice, memento mori. Remember you will die, not to sadden us, but to awaken us. When we remember that everything is finite, we no longer live with the psychology of postponement. We no longer say, "I will love later, I will be grateful later," because we know there may be no later at all. Death makes everything precious. Even an ordinary day becomes miraculous because it may be the last day we see this light. Thus, the Stoics do not mourn impermanence. They cherish things because they are impermanent. Not the one who travels far sees the world, but the one who knows how to look even at small things. A speck of dust dancing in morning sunlight is the universe in its smallest form. A mother's wrinkled hand is love engraved over time. A warm cup of tea on a cold afternoon is peace in its simplest shape. The resentful say, "I have nothing." The awakened say, "I have an entire world to feel." Beauty does not arise from extravagance. It arises from the gaze that knows how to cherish. Gratitude is the compass that leads us back to the center of ourselves. When grateful, we stop chasing illusions outside. We return to what is present, a breath to this moment. Epictetus said, "The wise do not grieve what they lack, but rejoice for what they have." It took me years to understand this. I chased what I thought I lacked until I nearly exhausted myself, only to realize that what I needed for peace I had from the beginning: a soul, a mind, and a living breath. Each day, pause for a moment, look around, and whisper, "Thank you." No grand reason needed. Thank you for being able to see this light. Thank you for a roof, a loved one, a night's rest. Thank you for the lessons of yesterday. Gratitude is medicine for the soul. It dissolves bitterness, softens hardened hearts,
and opens the path to true peace. To the Stoics, gratitude is a skill to be practiced because happiness is a habit of the mind, not a reward of fate. One trained in Stoic philosophy is grateful not only when things go well, but also amid things unfinished. For they understand that today's imperfection forms the foundation of tomorrow's fullness, like an incomplete statue, containing within it the shape of beauty, needing only time, patience, and a few more chisels of destiny. Thus they say, "Thank you for what has not yet arrived, for it is on its way to me." When a person truly awakens, they no longer see life as a chain of trials, but as a chain of gifts sent for their growth. They no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" They ask, "What is this teaching me?" Each event, each person, each circumstance is a mirror reflecting part of the soul. When we respond with anger, life teaches patience. When we respond with fear, life teaches trust. When we respond with gratitude, life teaches freedom. And so every moment becomes a lesson. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. When we open the eyes of gratitude, the world transforms. Not because the world changed, but because we changed. The sky is still the same, but bluer. The wind is still the same, but warmer. People are still the same, but we understand them better. Each morning we no longer ask, "What will I gain today?" but "What gift will I recognize today?" And then we realize life has never stopped giving. Only we forgot how to receive. Do not wait for miracles. Open your eyes. Everything around you is already a miracle. When we were young, we believed strength lay in quick reactions, in the ability to respond instantly, to never let anyone win over us. We thought the silent were weak and the non-reactive were defeated. But over the years, we discover something truer. Real strength is not in reaction, but in the capacity to remain still amid turbulence. Viktor Frankl, the survivor of the Nazi concentration camps, once said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom. In that freedom lies our growth and our happiness." The Stoics understood this thousands of years earlier. Epictetus taught his students, "It is not things that disturb you, but your judgment of them." We cannot control what happens to us, but we can always control how we respond. And in that lies the essence of inner freedom. Most people live unconsciously. A criticism provokes anger. A cold glance causes hurt. A setback makes them collapse. They allow the external to govern the internal, like leaves blown by the wind. The Stoic is different. They do not allow their mind to be dragged around like an animal on a leash. They pause between what happened and how I respond. In that pause, they choose the life of wisdom, not instinct. When someone insults us, the body reacts. heat rising, heart-pounding lips, ready to strike back. This is the primitive instinct, fight or flight. But if we allow instinct to rule, we lose ourselves. The Stoic does not suppress emotion. They simply refuse to let emotion dictate action. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each day, if someone harms you, remember it is because they do not understand what is good. And if you understand why, be angry at what they do not know. Reaction belongs to the animal. Response belongs to the soul. Reaction is instant. Response comes after seeing the whole. Reaction is thunder. Response is lightning bright but silent. We are truly strong only when we can choose not to react. Sometimes silence is the highest form of response. Silence is not weakness, it is the preservation of choice. The Stoics consider silence a form of pure strength. For in silence they observe life's entire spectacle, noise, anger, insult, deceit, and choose not to let any of it enter their mind. Seneca said, "The best person is the one who can see another's anger without letting it enter his own soul." When we are silent, others are left to hear the echo of their own voices. Their anger reflects back onto them until they see its futility. Meanwhile, we remain serene, like a calm lake reflecting the sky without being stirred. People admire those who win arguments, but the Stoic admires those who do not need to win. For the self-mastered do not need validation. They know their value without requiring others to confirm it. Truth does not need argument, it only needs to be lived.
Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to become like the wrongdoer. This is the North Star of the still mind. For when we repay evil with evil, we lose our dignity. But when we remain calm, we win not in others' eyes, but in our own. Calmness is not weakness. It is the posture of one who has weathered many storms and no longer trembles at the wind. To master others is easy. To master oneself is far harder. A general may command thousands, yet lose to his own thoughts. A king may rule an empire, yet be ruled by his anger. The Stoics taught, if you wish to conquer the world, begin by conquering your mind. The mind is a wild horse. Without reins, it drags us through fear, resentment, despair. But with discipline, it carries us to peace, wisdom, freedom. Each time anger rises, pause, breathe, and ask, is this worth the peace of my soul? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. The Stoic does not permit others to push their emotional buttons. If we erupt at someone's words, we have surrendered control of our inner world to them. We become puppets of their emotions. Epictetus said, if someone can anger, you know that it is you who allowed it.
No one can hurt us unless we consent. No one can steal our peace unless we hand over the key. No one can insult us unless we believe their words have power. That is why the Stoic remains serene amid gossip and praise. They hear compliments but do not become inflated. They hear criticism but are not wounded. They listen, observe, and smile, knowing that every word reflects the speaker, not the listener. Many mistake stillness for numbness, but the Stoic is not unfeeling. They still love, care, act. The difference is that they do not let emotion govern action. They may weep, but tears do not cloud judgment. They may feel anger at injustice, but anger does not blind them. They love without clinging and lose without breaking. Stillness is not the coldness of stone. It is the strength of a mountain. A mountain does not fight the wind, yet the wind cannot move it. Life does not lack storms. The Stoic does not avoid storms. They learn to stand steady within them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are troubled by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And you have the power to revoke this estimate at any moment." This is wondrous. We cannot banish storms from the sky, but we can calm the storm within. When the inner world is still, even outer tempest becomes music for growth. Breath, the simplest yet deepest tool. Whenever agitated, the Stoic returns to the breath. Inhale awareness. Exhale release. 3 deep breaths can save us from hours of distress. 1 moment of quiet can prevent a conflict lasting years. Self-mastery begins with the breath. In the breath, we reclaim the present moment. And in the present moment, we reclaim ourselves. Those who have endured much yet remain calm carry a strange radiance, the radiance of one who no longer fears, not because they no longer feel pain, but because they have passed through pain without letting it deform the soul. They enter a room silently, yet others feel their grounded presence, like a mountain settled in a valley, like a river flowing strong, yet gentle. This is the aura of the self-mastered, unmoved by praise or blame, gain or loss, victory or defeat. The person Seneca called Homo Fortis, the strong soul. Knowledge may make one clever, but only stillness makes one wise. For true wisdom is not knowing much, but seeing clearly without disturbance. When the mind is calm, we can hear the voice of reason. When reason speaks, we know what to do. When we know what to do, fear dissolves. And when fear dissolves, we are free. This is the Stoic circle of perfection. Stillness, wisdom, freedom, happiness. Observe water flowing around Stone, water soft, stone hard, yet over years, water shapes the stone. Observe the mountain under lightning, thunder roars, winds howl, rain falls, but the mountain remains silent, magnificent, unmoved. So is the Stoic. Not because they do not know fear, but because they do not let fear command them. Not because they do not know pain, but because pain has become their teacher. Above all, they understand freedom is not doing what we wish, but not being ruled by anything. The truly strong is not the one who defeats others, but the one who defeats himself.
There was a time when I read philosophy like a thirsty traveler. Before a spring, I read Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, underlined lines, wrote notes, closed the book, returned to life, and let the teachings rest on the page. I thought that understanding philosophy was enough, but understanding without living is knowledge, not wisdom. For wisdom does not lie in what we say, but in how we live. One may speak of peace, but if a single insult ignites fury, that peace is not yet theirs. One may say everything happens for a reason, but if one failure breaks them, then that belief lives only on the lips, not in the blood. Seneca warned, "Nothing is more shameful than speaking of philosophy, like a person singing a song whose meaning they do not understand." The Stoics do not want us merely to talk about virtue. They want us to become virtue. Not merely admire reason, but live by reason. For a belief not expressed in action is but an echo in the desert. Marcus Aurelius called this integritas wholeness. A whole soul is one not divided against itself. It thinks the good, speaks the good, and does the good. But humans often split themselves into three parts. One part thinks rightly, one part speaks beautifully, and one part acts wrongly. Then their soul becomes a cracked mirror, unable to reflect even themselves clearly. They speak of kindness, yet behave harshly. They speak of calmness, yet live anxiously. They speak of letting go, yet cling to trivialities. I too have lived this contradiction. Nothing tormented me more, for the soul knows peace only when no longer divided. Epictetus was born a slave, lived in hardship. Yet when he spoke of freedom, those who heard him believed, for freedom lived in his breath, his eyes, his posture. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor. Yet when he spoke of humility, doubted him for the most powerful man in the world, reminded himself each morning, "Do not forget you are but a small part of the universe, and even glory turns to dust." Seneca was a wealthy statesman, yet when he wrote to Lucilius, "It is not that we have little time,
but that we waste much of it. He spoke from experience. A man who had once strayed into power and then found his soul again in philosophy. 3 men, 3 lives, 1 truth. Philosophy is not to be spoken, but to be lived. One who says everything will be fine, yet panics at every misfortune, has not truly believed. One who says, I let go, yet checks outcomes each day, has not truly released. One who says, I trust the process, yet pressures fate, has not understood the process. True belief needs no announcement because presence itself becomes the evidence.
The Stoic remains composed amid chaos, does their work with quiet dedication. People wonder, where does their peace come from? But they do not know that peace was forged from 1,000 acts of trust when there was no reason to trust. For the Stoic to live rightly is the highest form of worship, not through rituals or pleas, but through daily actions, reflecting faith in the order of the cosmos. Epictetus said, do not speak of philosophy. Live in such a way that others see philosophy through you. A person may never quote Marcus Aurelius, but if they live with kindness, calmness, discipline, and gratitude, they are a living scripture of Stoic philosophy. The world does not need more lectures. It needs souls who live what they believe. Each morning, Marcus Aurelius asked himself, will I live today according to the philosophy I profess? This question is the mirror of every sage. To understand but not to live is to betray truth. If we believe in kindness, begin by being kind to the nearest person. If we believe in calmness, stay silent when provoked. If we believe in the process, stop blaming life. Each small action is proof of belief. Repeated long enough, it becomes character. Character becomes destiny. This is the Stoic path. Belief, action, essence. There is no other path. One day people will not remember what you said, but they will remember how you lived. The look in your eyes when facing adversity, your voice when speaking of others, your posture in defeat, and your bearing in solitude. The Stoics believe each person is a walking lesson in this world. You may be a lesson of patience or a lesson of resentment, a testament of faith or a testament of doubt. Choose to live so that even without preaching, you still teach others through your presence. The Stoics consider consistency the virtue of the great. They live simply, speak little, work steadily, and do not let emotion override principle. Seneca wrote, when word and deed are united, we become whole. When they diverge, we are torn between the world and ourselves. This consistency is not achieved in a day. It is forged through discipline, discipline of thought, of action, of speech. Each day the Stoic examines themselves, asking three things. Have I acted according to reason? 2. Have I remained calm amid praise and blame? 3. Have I allowed emotion to govern my behavior? If the answer is imperfect, they do not punish themselves. They simply smile and say, "Tomorrow I will do better." This is discipline of kindness, strict yet not cruel to oneself. One who believes everything happens at the right time walks calmly among the frantic. One who believes failure is a lesson has bright eyes where others have despair. One who believes the universe is benevolent has a warm voice where others have bitterness. Belief, when absorbed into the soul, becomes character, and character cannot be faked. It is something others feel without needing words. The Stoic does not try to persuade with speech. They inspire through presence. When someone truly lives their philosophy, others naturally wish to live better too, not through pressure, but through the quiet magnetism of truth lived out. The calmness of one person can soothe the anger of a room. The steadfastness of one person can uphold the faith of many. This is the silent power of one who lives according to their belief. Remember Marcus Aurelius writing Meditations on a battlefield outside the noise of war, inside the silence of a philosopher. He did not write for others to read. He wrote to keep his soul clean amid chaos. That is why each line carries more weight than any speech. It is the testimony of a great soul living philosophy in the midst of life, not apart from it. Seneca met death calmly, his veins opened in serenity. Epictetus taught from a small house with no possessions. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire yet wrote about humility. 3 lives, 3 proofs. And we too can be proof if we dare to live what we understand. One day when you leave this world, people will not remember your words, but they will remember the feeling your presence gave them. If they felt peace, you lived as a Stoic. Live so that each step leaves a trace of kindness. Each word lightens someone's burden. Each deed proves that goodness is real. Do not just believe things will be okay. Live in such a way that you become the evidence that things can be okay. For no teaching echoes more powerfully than the life of a person who lives their philosophy fully. Live as though you are the living proof of the good. Then you will no longer seek truth, for you will have become it. Life never promises to be easy. It promises only one thing. Every challenge carries a lesson meant specifically for you. And if you are quiet enough to listen, brave enough to continue, and steady enough to trust the process, then you are already stronger than the person you were yesterday. On this journey, you don't need to outrun anyone. You only need to walk more firmly than your past self, step by step, but in the right direction. If the reflections in this video spoke to you, if they helped you see life with more clarity, softness,
or calm, leave a comment, or share this video with someone who might need a moment of light. And remember, it is not the world that shapes you, it is the way you choose to see the world that determines your inner strength. I'll see you again in the next chapter of this Stoic journey, where every moment is a lesson, and every lesson brings you closer to a soul unshaken by the storms. Thank you for being here.